Welcome everybody to the Chinchilla Pickin' Podcast. It is July the 27th, 2025 at 4:08 p.m. As always, we hope to be entertaining, educational, and uplifting because we want everyone to make money. My name is David Underwood, and I'm joined by the one and only, the Baron of Bonds himself, Brandon Beaver. Brandon, how's it hanging? What's cooking? What's going on?
It was a great week.
Yeah?
Yeah, awesome week for earnings. Made me very happy. I know it made you very happy.
Well, yeah, yeah, and I'm sure we're gonna get into that. Anything else going on, man? I know it's a huge earnings right now everywhere, but
What else is there to life, Dave?
besides earnings, company earnings, I don't know, man.
The answer is nothing.
This is what I look forward to every quarter, every 3 months.
Yeah, me too.
These few weeks of just high intense, lots of companies reported earnings, earnings everywhere, earnings. You get earnings, everybody gets earnings. It's a great few weeks of time.
Yeah, and the shows just write themselves.
Yeah, because I mean, we just go into data, deep dive into the earnings and cover what the companies cover. We look at some of their news. I'm more interested in their guidance because, all right, yeah, they reported. It's already been reported. It's good to cover the numbers a little bit, but I'm more interested in where are we headed with these. Where's this going? Should we buy? Should we sell? Should we hold? What's going on in the future, right? That's what I want to look at. I want to say, all right, here's the report. How do I take this report and determine what I want to do in the future? What's the company's guidance? That's what I want to know. And that's what I want to deep dive into a little bit because we have some big earnings coming up this week. We have a lot of things going on, and it's good to cover these just from a standpoint of letting people know what's going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, did you see that General Motors expecting a $4 to $5 billion hit from tariffs?
and I thought they were an all-American company.
Parts aren't. No, the parts are not.
I was being facetious.
RTX cut its 2025 forecast, citing tariffs. What do you have to say about that, Dave? What do you have to say for yourself? I'm just kidding.
Look, I never, I don't believe I ever said that tariffs are great or fabulous. I believe I said that I understand that this is Trump's way of getting to an end goal.
Sure.
Now, once we get to that end goal, once he accomplishes what he's trying to accomplish, does he revert back to no tariffs or does he keep tariffs? That's the question. I don't know. It's so you don't know with Trump, and that's the thing.
Yeah,
You
I
don't
agree.
know.
I agree.
So, I mean, we're signing deals. I'm going to get into those numbers and some more. We signed I'm not going to get into the EU deal, so we could talk about it right now. We signed a deal with the EU. That's going to be huge. That's going to settle markets because everybody was uncertain about the future. Well, now the deal is signed. Now we know we have uncertainty what the future holds. We know exactly where it's going to be. Now we can make adjustments to our portfolios based off of that.
Agreed.
I don't think there's going to be really any too much buying and selling going on based off the EU deal, though. I think it was all baked in, and I think we're just moving forward.
I agree.
Honestly, I looked at the deal. I mean, the brief. I didn't go in detail, but I looked at the brief overview, the highlights, if you will, of the deal when I was reading down in multiple different articles. Multiple. I don't just go to one source. I read a few of them, and nothing outlandish, nothing that would cause me to say, all right, sell it, or okay, let's buy. Nothing that says back up the truck, not going to happen off this deal.
Right.
But I feel just leave as is and base any future European company purchases based off that company's actual fundamentals themselves. So
I agree.
nice. Well, I mean that made
Well,
it easy. There's no back and forth. There's no bicker and a banter.
well, we got 80% of the companies that have already reported for the S&P 500 now. Um, Blended net profit margin of about 12.3%, which is pretty good. Um, Blended year-over-year earnings growth rate for 6.4%, which is modest, medium. But everybody was expecting 4.8%. Handily beat that. So, I mean, this earnings season right now, well, the reason why it was so good for us, it's not because it was a great earnings season so far, but because it was better than anticipated.
Well, and now we're going to be leading into the second biggest holiday season of the United States, which is Halloween and fall. And that leads right into this first biggest holiday season, which is Christmas holiday, between Thanksgiving and Christmas. But Halloween is now the second biggest commercial holiday in the United States, and that is coming up. And I'm already seeing some of it at. I have a Costco membership. I'm already seeing some at Costco. I'm already seeing some displays at my local grocery store, and I'm just wondering, like, what happened to back to school? First of all, back to school is a huge sale opportunity for retail. Where's that? Why are
Right.
we moving right into Halloween and fall when back to school stuff to happen?
Right.
August is
In
typically the
August.
month of back to school. August is
Yeah.
back to school month. That's when parents go out buy clothes. They buy if your kids going off to college, you're buying typical college furniture, futons, a simple coffee table, a basic dresser. You know what I mean? Those type of things is what you're looking to get if back to school, and then pens and paper and all that, and buying for teachers if you do that sort of thing. That's what happens right now.
Shout out to all the people trapped at our old, well, not trapped. I shouldn't say trapped. Our old company was actually pretty good to us. So I
Yeah,
shouldn't
I
be
mean,
complaining
yeah,
about it.
sort
But
of. It
the
was
but
it was it was good in some ways, but a lot of and I don't want to. It's hard, so I can say it legally, but it's hard because I don't want to, because the company
yeah,
when I was there had great benefits. They paid me reasonably fair in comparison to the market as a whole. So I have no complaints in that regard, right? Company was pretty fair, and they had good policies on paper.
yeah.
It was the individuals that did not
They
treat me.
treated me well at the
They did
end.
not
So
treat me
I
well.
and I left. I left just because it was time for me to go. But
Yeah.
anyways, shout out to people dealing with summer sale.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I do remember that. That was a huge deal. Wow. Yeah. Tempers flew. I need this over here. No. Activity A, B, C, D.
Oh goodness. Yeah. All right.
Good times. Good times.
Yeah.
Nice.
Company rhymes with idea.
uh, all right. Let's get into it. Rules, rules, rules. Brandon and I get together 5 to 10 minutes before the show, and we tell each other what we're going to talk about. You hear the lie back and forth, the bicker and the banter right here on the show for you. Brandon's going to take it away. I always hope that we have a little bit of bicker and banter, because I'm not saying that, like, Brandon, if you and I agree on everything, that's not a good thing. That's a good thing. That's great, right? That means we're in alignment. We both have the same interests at heart. But when we have a disagreement, it shows other people how two individuals can have a disagreement, talk it out, and still disagree. Because I don't know if you're listening to the show. When him and I are having a disagreement on the show, we really disagree. When the show ends, we don't all of a sudden agree. We still disagree, and yet we are still friends, and we still come back on the show a week later and record again. We're able to have that discussion, and I want to make sure everybody out there still is able to do that in their lives. So, Brandon, take it
So,
away.
well, Alphabet. We'll hit Alphabet first. Reported earnings, pretty good earnings. Report for them, 14% year-over-year increase in consolidated revenues, $96.4 billion.
Nice. That's not a bad quarter, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not 100 billion, but
Net income rose by 19%. Yeah, I mean, this is really good compared to where the stock is valued.
this is a mature company that has growth. So, what I mean by that, Brandon, is a non-mature company that is experiencing good growth. You would look to see about 50% growth.
Right.
Um, and that means that they're still exploding. They're still getting their products out to the market. They're still trying to find their customer base. Google's a mature company. They already have established everything. What they're doing is they're continuing to find ways to grow year over year. So you're looking at that 10 to 20% growth range.
Right, right. I heard from the CEO on the conference call. He said that artificial intelligence is positively impacting every part of the business. I
I
mean,
tell you what, I use Google Gemini pretty much daily now. So
I'm
I would
subscribed
say,
to it. I have
yeah.
I have Gemini Pro.
See, it's hey, I don't have Gemini Pro. How much is that?
I don't remember. I'm not
You're like,
sure.
you do not obviously do the finances in your household. You're like, I don't
So,
know. I just subscribe. You know.
so I honestly, I was like, all right, I'm gonna subscribe to this, and then I'm gonna get rid of my Wall Street Journal membership. And then I went to cancel my Wall Street Journal membership, and they're like, "Oh, if you stay on, it'll only be like $9 a month or something like that." So I didn't cancel that either. So
So you're saying I should go to Wall Street Journal, try to cancel, and then they'll give me a lower deal.
that is the secret every time. Honestly, I've went to cancel that membership multiple times, and then I just keep getting better deals and staying on.
Nice. Nice. So I'm the one paying for all that with my regular premium price deal with them. So fair enough. Anyways, Google Gemini AI, Google
Yeah.
AI.
And they're increasing the capital expenditure from $75 billion to $85 billion. And the reason for that is because Google Cloud was just off the charts. And now they've got a massive backload of customers. And they're just trying to build out this AI infrastructure. So this increase of capital expenditures is actually financially relevant to them. It's not, we're going to increase because Meta did, or we're going to increase because Amazon did our capital expenditures. It's we're increasing our capital expenditures on this because we have to, and because it financially makes sense.
So they're actually seeing some results. They see the future. They see that they can actually make a great profit off of it. So like let's put some more money into this and let's expand it as necessary because our customer base is growing, which is
Right,
the right reasons. Yeah, I like
right.
that.
So the services revenue increased 12% to $82.5 billion. They said that that was actually due to the performance of search and YouTube advertising, which was something I was looking for because I wanted to see what your search revenue is going to be. They don't actually make this like search thing easy to figure out because they couple it with other things. But advertising revenue is the point for this, and that's the
Yep.
driver, the biggest driver of Google. And so if they want to lump it with YouTube, I guess it's okay. There's another section in the financial report which is search and other, and that
Well,
drives me nuts because now you're coupling search with Waymo. But
I mean, like you got to couple it with YouTube because if I go to Google and I want to advertise, they're going to advertise it on YouTube and Google both.
right,
And so it's kind of all coupled together. I can advertise wherever with Google.
right. So the AI mode for search, which was launched back in May, now has, and I don't know how they calculate this, but I'll trust them, over 100 million monthly active users in the United States and India. AI
Nice.
overviews, which I honestly, this is the weak spot, dude. Like, if you've ever used AI overviews in the search, I see a
Not
lot of
yet.
misinformation here. And I tell people all the time, yeah, you're going to get some weird search results in the AI overview, but if
What is
Gemini, you'll
AI
get it right.
overview?
So when you do a search on Google.com, the thing that pops up at the top is an AI overview that's a
Oh, okay,
specific
gotcha.
question. And half the time I use it, it gets my question or my answer wrong. But Gemini always gets it right. So use Gemini. Don't use the AI
Yeah,
search
and
overviews for now.
the more you use it, I find the better you get at creating your prompts and wording things the right way.
Yeah, I agree. They said that this is actually driving 10% more queries globally. So search is going higher because of it. Um, Subscriptions, platform, and devices that had a 20% increase. And that's $11.2 billion now in revenue. They said that that was mostly because of the YouTube subscription offerings and Google One. I'm a subscriber now because of Gemini, which is huge. I mean, it's a great deal. Like if you go into there, you can create a podcast on it now. So create a
Yeah.
search. So if you do a in-depth report on it and then click on the research button, once that's done, you can create an audio overview and it does a podcast for you based on the
Really?
information. Yeah,
I wonder if you could just post that and then make money off the advertisement.
maybe. I don't know. I think it's technically public domain. Maybe.
Is it?
Why are we talking on this podcast, Dave? It could be done by artificial intelligence.
Let's just have
Do it.
Gemini write it, man. What are we doing? Just put our faces on, they could talk for us.
Right. I think it's a female and a male, so one of us has got to be the female in the relationship.
You have the longer hair, so
Uh, the Gemini app now boasts more than 450 million monthly active users. That's big.
that is good.
450 million. Google Cloud was the big deal here, though. Revenue surged 32% to 13.6 billion. The first quarter of 2020, revenue for them was $2.8 billion. Now this quarter, 13.8 billion. That's pretty explosive growth.
Yeah, I think they're taking business from Microsoft Office and people are switching to Google because it's cheaper. Companies are.
The Google Cloud backlog, and I know this is a double-edged sword. $106 billion.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's that capital expenditure increase from 75 to 85 billion. That's why that's happening.
Yeah.
Most of it at least, and that's why it makes sense. So it's good for us to read, and it's a good kind of, gives us a good feel for what the revenue is going to be here for the next couple of quarters. Looking pretty good, as long as none of those orders cancel, and as long as they can fulfill them in a timely, manner.
Yeah.
So, by the way, this is a doubling of deals year over year for Google Cloud. 28% quarter over quarter increase in Google Cloud Platform customers. That was the big deal for this report. That's why the stock went higher afterwards.
Well, I mean, yeah, and Google's going to continue to grow. I firmly price it around 220.
Yeah. You had this weird reaction to the stock that I think initially was a sell the news kind of thing. But the thing about Google is that the stock price had been subdued compared to its peers like Meta
Yep.
and Amazon anyways. But so people started to sell the news on this. It started to dip about 1% and then it just went right back up. So,
It's initial investment bank traders trying to guess which way it's going to go very quickly off the headlines about getting time, without taking time to read into the actual numbers.
yeah.
And sometimes they get it wrong. Sometimes
So
they get it
don't do
right.
that.
Sometimes they get it wrong. Huh?
Don't react right away. There's a good reason to not
Yeah.
react right away to the numbers. Newmont Corporation reported after earnings, it was down after hours 1%, and the next day it was like 7, 8% to the upside.
So yeah, before we
So,
get into Newmont, let's wrap up Google here. What did they say about their guidance going forward and about their legal troubles? Because I did not listen. I wanted to listen to the earnings call, but I did not get a chance to listen. Did they say anything about their legal troubles? And then what did they give for guidance?
guidance was, I believe, it was confirmed. I don't think it was raised, if I don't
So just
remember.
staying right where they're at for the rest of
Yeah,
the
and
year.
I didn't pay attention for the legal troubles. That's kind of a every quarter thing.
Yeah,
And
but that's their
with the
biggest
headwind,
headwind. That's their biggest headwind. How
yeah,
can you
but
not
here's
pay
the
attention to
thing,
that? I mean, what's
because
going
it's
on?
because it is every tech company's biggest headwind, so it cancels out to me. I mean, every day there's a new lawsuit to Google or Meta or somebody from the or European Union or from the New York Attorney General, and it never matters.
That's like the biggest job security for a lawyer is be a lawyer for Google or Meta or
It is, but the stock never reacts to it. So,
oh, Google stock reacts to some of the bigger headlines. They do.
I mean, yeah, Meta had Cambridge Analytica, but yeah, those lawsuits to me, I'm like, unless it's an eye-popping number, the company that
Apple gets sued all the time for their Play Store
90,
monopoly.
yeah, and again, another cash cow, and a lot of that's just like money found in a couch cushion to them.
Gotcha.
So,
All right, so I'm still gonna own it. I'm not selling. Done.
yeah, me too, and I think it's a good buy for anybody who doesn't own it.
Even after this run up,
Even after the run up, yeah, because it wasn't that big of a run up in the
I
long
don't
term.
think it
You're
was
buying
either.
it, and you're saying that it's going to be, 10 to 20 years from now, if this thing's, doubled or tripled in size, who cares about 2, 3% if you're going to buy and hold for the long run?
Right. I mean, but the only thing I'm wary of, Brandon, is every 20, 30 years, there's the newest, biggest company that comes out. And like we talked about, was it last week or the week before, that of the Mag 7, only one of them was around 30 years ago? Only
Yeah.
one. Oh,
Yeah.
no, two. Two of them were around 30 years
Google.
ago. It was Apple and Microsoft. All the other
Right.
ones were just in around that time 30 years ago being created. And it's, that's the only thing I try to be aware of, that, hey, Google may not be around forever.
What did
Microsoft may not be around forever. There will be another company that comes out and replaces them.
when did Google come out? I'm searching this. I'm asking Google, when were you invented? 1998. So you're right. 30 years ago, it was not here.
Yeah, same with Nvidia. Around that time for Nvidia. Tesla, same with that. All these companies, again, 30 years ago, not around. Or they were in the process of getting started. That's
Yeah.
it, man. You don't know, like there could be a company getting started right now that's going to replace these. So that's why I always think about when I want to be careful. I always say I don't see any reason in the next 5 years for this to be going anywhere.
Right.
And I try to do in 5 year chunks,
Right.
you know, and frame it that way. I think Tesla is the only one that I see right now. Tesla and Google and Microsoft are the only ones I see right now that look to have a stronger future over 10 years out. And that's because Tesla has those autonomous robots, the Optimus robots that are going to be taking over warehouses, I believe in 10 years. And then, Google and Microsoft are in every business and company with their sheets and documents and Office and all that. So they're everywhere still. There's nothing that's going to replace them anytime soon.
Mhm.
So, all right, moving on. You said you had Newmont mining or Newmont?
Right. So let me tell you this real quick, though, because we were just talking about like, who was big and who wasn't big back then. In 1980, IBM was like the future, right?
Yeah, they're still around. They
It was
they
the
have a
future.
viable company right now. It's just not near as big as it was.
So if you would have bought in 1980 and you still had the day, you would have made 125,611% on your. Yeah. So I mean, even that, and I know see people say all the time like timing the market is better than timing the market, which by the way, those people don't know how to read charts. That is
Yeah, but
crap.
that's 45-year time frame. In 45 years, I'm not guaranteed to be around.
This is true. That is true. Neither am I. But I'm just saying, like that was I picked 1980 because IBM at the time that was like, oh, this is the future, and that was the company of the future back then. That's kind of what everybody was jumping into. And then 1980, yeah, it would be a big percentage gain for you. Um, but I mean, that is still kind of the case. Like time in the market is very important. And if you have a company that's still running pretty well, 20, 30 years from now, you're probably going to be pretty good in it, even if it's not, the leader anymore, so to speak.
Yeah, Buffett made a majority of his money after he turned what, 50, 60?
Right. Yeah. And when did he buy Coke? He bought it during the new Coke scandal in the 1980s. I mean, you're not timing the market because of, technicals or anything. You're buying when nobody else wants to.
Yeah.
And if you did that in April of this year, you're doing better than everybody else. You're
I
doing
go
better
back to this
than the entire
I
market
go
by a lot.
Yeah, I go back to the story of this gentleman. I told him to buy Micron technology back in the day. And Micron at that time was like $24, like 70 cents or whatever. He put a buy in, a limit order buy for 24.50. He said, I want that 25 cents less um a share. That's gonna make me just that 25 cents more. And I said, just go ahead and buy it. I said it's gonna move up.
Yeah.
They got some good news coming up this week. It's gonna jump. Go ahead and buy it right now. And this was a discussion. We went back and forth. This is like 2000, I don't remember, 14, 15, somewhere around there. And he did not end up, his limit order did not go through, and Micron Technology jumped to $40 a share. he missed out because of 25 cents.
I know.
And I
Yeah.
was like, that's ridiculous, man.
No,
Come
yeah,
on.
no, just let it go.
You're
Right.
trying to penny a market. Come on.
Right. Then don't chase it after that. You made the mistake. The train's gone.
Right? Yeah. It's already left.
Yeah. There'll be
Move
another
on.
one.
Move on. You'll catch more. There's
Right.
a bull market everywhere. I mean, I know Jim Cramer says that, but he's right. There
This is,
is, but you'll find one.
yeah. But why? Search for the bear market sometimes. I mean, sometimes the bull markets are okay. I bought Nvidia in the middle of a bull market. I bought Palantir in the middle of a bull market. So I guess you're right. But anyway, so yeah, second quarter of 2025, GE Vernova reported a total of $9.1 billion. That's 11% increase or 12% on an organic basis. This was driven primarily by demand from data centers. Surprise. Huge drive from demand from data centers. Almost $500 million in orders received in the first half of 2025. That full year of 2024, they had orders of $600 million. So we're already 500 million there. We're going to probably double, I would say, what their orders were just full year last year.
And this is why I bought in. This is why you bought in. This is why we continue to say that this company is going to continue to grow.
Yeah. And the reason why the stock went up as much as it did, they raised their full year guidance to the high end of 36 billion to 37 billion dollars. Adjusted EBITDA margin range is now 8 to 9%. Expectations for cash flow have been raised. Some are saying this is going to be a range of $3 billion to $3.5 billion of free cash flow. This is a company that just a couple of years ago had zero free cash flow.
So this company's a win. It's
I
a
agree.
win.
I agree.
And the thing that's making it a win, that's really driving it home, I have to say, is the data centers. It's AI. It's really affecting GE
Right.
Vernova.
And the biggest laggard for this company is wind. It still is wind, but they're saying second half of this year to be profitable.
Yeah, but that's all governments. A lot of that's government subsidies paying for that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They said that they're at the beginning of an investment super cycle into more reliable baseload power, grid infrastructure, and decarbonization solutions.
What does that mean?
So that means that for them, more money is coming. That super cycle that $500 million came from I think it was $500 million. They got a deal with Saudi Arabia for grid stabilization, and I think it was 500 million from them. And that was a big one, but they've got more coming, so to speak.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're going to be signing some big deals and they're saying more big deals are coming. We're in talks. All good news. It's going to continue to
Oh,
grow. My call is this is a buy. You should get in.
I have to correct myself. It was a $1.5 billion deal.
Even better.
Saudi Arabia.
Same
I
statement,
agree.
even better. Just instead of one exclamation point, now two exclamation points.
Right. So
Hashtag win in.
Newmont is a company that I own that
This is
two.
the first of all, I want to interrupt. This is the only one of these three that you said you were going to cover that I don't own. So
Yeah,
let's
I own all of these companies, but Newmont caught my attention. Number one, I don't know if you saw the news on this. On Tuesday, July 23rd, 2025, two fall of ground incidents occurred at the Red Chris operation in British Columbia. What that means is that they had some miners down in there. Actually, these were subcontractors that were down in the mine, and the ground collapsed in on them. And they were trapped there for 3 days. Um, there's an investigation going on into how that happened and why it happened, but the safety protocols that Newmont had in place worked. So they had an underground refuge for the miner or for the subcontractors, whatever those guys were down there. Those guys were able to make it to the underground facility, to the refuge that had food and water and that was plenty stocked prior to the second fall of ground incident, which I think would have been catastrophic for them had they still been in the same spot. After 3 days, they were able to be rescued,
Nice,
reporting
good.
no health concerns, nothing like that, and they're back with their families, which is a huge deal. Um, yeah, more they were trapped for more than 60 hours. But they're saying they're in good health and good spirits, reunited with their families. Rescue operation was described as a carefully planned and meticulously executed plan. So far what I'm seeing, this is a risk that you take as being a miner, right? The safety plans that Newmont has seem to be pretty good.
Good. And this all came out right before their earnings.
And yeah, and no fatalities, no hospitalizations, nothing like that. From what I saw, this is a learning curve for them. So, if they go into this and they can investigate this and figure out something that they could have done better, then this is something that they can learn from. Um, Now the earnings took backseat to all of that, of course. It was one of the reasons why I think Newmont went down at first on earnings, and then the day after this thing shot back up because these guys got rescued, and turns out they were just fine. So they reported revenues of $5.32 billion for the second quarter of 2025, 20% increase year over year. Look at the price to earnings ratio on this, Dave. It was like 8. Now I think it's like 10. So revenue
Okay.
increase of 20.8%, um, comfortably above estimates. Earnings per share was $1.43, 99% increase year over year on EPS.
That's a huge increase on EPS, first of all.
Right.
And then the price, the PE ratio, the only thing is when I look at a PE ratio by itself, right, Brandon,
Right.
I get worried if it's always the same no matter what the price of the stock is, because I've seen this before. Micron Technology, I go back to that one. I've traded
Yeah,
that
but
stock
look,
for
the
years.
the thing is if we would have bought and held and been more patient with it, then we would have been rewarded eventually,
Yes.
handsomely.
But sometimes there's reasons why P/E ratio is the way it is. That's why we look at all these. That's why you started mentioning other statistics because it's just a piece of the puzzle. So the other statistics tell the whole story in combination.
Right. And when General Motors been under 10, the entire American auto sector under other than Tesla under than 10 for years and years and years.
Yeah,
And I mean, General Motors just kind of showed why over the past year they've had terrible earnings.
yeah. And Ford's always been within in the past like what 15 years
Right.
in that $8 to $15 range. Has
Newmont
never
is,
broken out
yeah, Newmont is the world's, I think they're the largest gold producer. 1.5 million gold
over
ounces.
Freeport
I believe
or
they are.
Rio.
They produced 1.5 million attributable gold ounces in the quarter, 36,000 tons of copper. And they're maintaining their full year production guidance. Red Chris, where the incident was reported. This is not a currently producing mine, but they're expecting it to be fairly important for copper in the future. So even though it's not producing anything right now, the fact that they've shut it down for this investigation and we don't know when it's going to open back up, eventually that could have an effect on the stock.
Gotcha. All right. So we feel good, hopeful call
Yeah,
buy
I think
stock.
Newmont's still a buy, I think. I mean, there's kind of this two-edged sword that happens, right? Inflation increases, so cost pressures increase for
But then
Newmont, but
if
then gold
inflation
goes
goes up,
up.